Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I am going to start. We got international option, and today I have the article which is the alliance system in Europe, the unification of Germany. The new German Reich Empire was established in 18th January 1871 at the Palace of Versailles in France. The separate kingdoms of North German Confederation and the South German states were unified as a single country, Germany. The main primary responsible for this was Otto von Bismarck. By the middle of the 19th century, Austria controlled many of the states in the southern Germany. But in 1866, Bismarck Prussian troops defeated Austria and destroyed its position as the leading German-speaking power in Europe. In 1867, Austria formed a monarchic union with the Kingdom of Hungary, but its ruling family, the Habsburgs, presided over a disjointed and multinational empire. The Franco-Prussian War of 1870-1871 enabled Bismarck to complete his plans to unify Germany, leaving France defeated and bitter. By the terms of the Treaty of Frankfurt 1871, Germany took the French provinces of Alsace and Lorraine and forced France to pay a vast sum of money in the war compensation. Resentment and the loss of its land and the fear of its powerful new German nation influenced France's foreign policy for many years to come. So according to this paragraph, there are so many things we need to learn. First of all, today's Germany was actually the combination are the confederation of two different, it's a southern and northern states. And secondly, before the unification of Germany, we got a superpower in Europe, which was Austria. And Austria was controlling most of the land and the population which spoke German language. So the first person who make a way for the unification of Germany, you can say the melange or the mixing or the confederation of southern states and the northern states, the areas which is now called Germany. He was the first person, the Bismarck, who tried his level best for the unification, and also he succeeded in this plan. So there are two things to remember. First of all, the Bismarck, he was basically representing Prussian state. Prussia was, you can say, the biggest state in Germany. No, today's Germany. The Prussian state was the biggest state, and Bismarck was the one who controlled that land, the Prussian state, and he was the one who who collected his army against, first of all, against the Austrian army. He was able to defeat Austrian empire. Secondly, he was the one who defeated France, and not only defeated France, but he also took two very major cities, Alsace and Lorraine, from France. And at the same time, France had to pay a lot of money as a compensation, because obviously once the Japan lost the war, so it had to pay a lot of money to Germany. Not Germany exactly, I want to say the Prussian government, and which was led at that particular moment by Bismarck. The unification of Germany in 1871 heralded a period of relatively stability in the relationship between the major European power of Britain, France, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia. This is the point. After the unification of Germany, there was a kind of fear in the Central Europe, because as I mentioned earlier in my previous lectures, I keep on telling you that in the scramble for Africa, obviously Britain played a very vital part for that. Britain took the most of the land in Africa, and after Britain it was France. So basically France and Britain was the power in Europe as far as the territorial acquisition is concerned. Austria restricted itself to Europe only. So Austria didn't get anything, didn't try anything to have in South Africa or in African continent. So according to this situation, we need to learn something, which is, when German became a unification, a single country, obviously it was a fear for Britain. And when Bismarck took control of two major cities of France, Alsace and Lorraine, so it was a kind of, you can say, kind of alarming situation for Britain. So it might be possible that in the next upcoming years, Britain has to face the music, because Germany is going to be a superpower in Central Europe. Though Britain has the strongest navy, in the region, but still, I mean, as far as the trade is concerned, as far as the troops and the weaponry is concerned, Germany is getting better and better with the passage of time. So after the loss of major cities, France decided to change its foreign policy, and the crux or the central, you can say, position of the France foreign policy was just to cover and save itself from more German occupation. And obviously, Britain was desperate to have alliance with France just to cover itself, to make more, you can say, stronger impact against Germany. Bismarck policies played a significant part in maintaining this stability within Europe. Although Germany was now the dominant power on the continent, both economically and militarily, Bismarck understood that it remained vulnerable. Situated as it was the heart of Europe, Germany was open to attack from three sides: from France to the west, from Russia to the east, and from Austria-Hungary to the south. The Chancellor's main concern was to isolate potential enemies, especially France, which he knew would be looking for revenge after its costly defeat in the Franco-Prussian War. Bismarck therefore set out to establish a series of friendly agreements with other European countries, and largely kept Germany out of the race for overseas possession in an effort to avoid conflict with other potential rivals such as Britain. Very important, very important paragraph. You know why? Because it's all about, we need to understand that after the loss of Franco-Prussian War, France was very conscious about the upcoming years. So obviously, France and Britain have a chance to develop an agreement or a natural alliance against Germany. So Germany's location in the Europe was central. I mean, to the west of the Germany, there lies France, eastern side, Russia, and the southern side, it was the empire, Austria-Hungary. Though Bismarck took a lot of control from Austrian possession as well. A lot of areas which were sometimes Austrian empire had, but after the defeat by Prussian Bismarck, Austria-Hungary also again lost his potential, you can say, also lost his capability to retain its land against Germany. So whatever Bismarck had in his mind, according to that time, I mean, the main crux for this policy or the foreign policy was to isolate France, or isolate France from having agreement with other potential rivals like Britain or Russia, at the same time trying to establish friendly relationship with its neighbors. Obviously it's not possible to have good relationship with France, because already Prussian Bismarck had control Alsace and Lorraine. So it was difficult for him to establish good relationship with France. So Bismarck alliances. So there is a series of different alliances, you can say, after the Franco-Prussian War. So first of all, the Three Emperor League, Dreikaiserbund, 1873. In 1873, Bismarck negotiated an agreement between Tsar Alexander II of Russia, Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria-Hungary, and Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany. In addition to isolating France, Bismarck hoped that regular meeting between the three monarchs would help to reduce dispute between Austria-Hungary and Russia over the Balkan states. The Three European League was largely unsuccessful, mainly because of the ongoing disputes between Germany's two allies. By 1879, the League had effectively collapsed. So first, in the alliance which were called at that the Three Emperors League. Three Emperors means, I mean, in Austria-Hungary there was a monarchism. In Russia it's Tsar Alexander II, and then Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany. So all they have the monarch system in those areas. So it was a natural alliance, because the way they were dealing their countries and their foreign policy. So it looked, though it is a bit difficult, because the Balkan state was the bone of contention between Russia and Austria-Hungary. Russia was desperate to have a control on Balkan states, but naturally the population of Balkan state they were mostly they spoke a German language. They were Romans as well at that particular moment. So I mean, it was natural alliance with Austria-Hungary, but Russia was desperate to have alliance with are just to try to capture maximum land in Balkan states. The Dole Alliance 1879, this was a defensive alliance between Germany and Austria-Hungary. Each country agreed to come to the other's aid in the event of an attack by Russia. So see that it's so surprisingly in 1873 there was alliance between Germany, Austria-Hungary and Russia. But in 1879, see that in the first league was collapsed, and in second they were ready. So German and Austria had a joint venture if it is the possibility that Russian can attack either on Germany. If Russia will attack on Germany, so Austria-Hungary would aid Germany, and if Austria-Hungary was attacked by Russia, so it was a natural alliance. Obviously German had to give aid to Austria. So the Triple Alliance 1882, this was in effort and extension of the Dole Alliance. Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy agreed to offer each other mutual support in event of an attack by any of the other great power. Italy's reason for joining the alliance were partially to preserve its own national security, but also because it was anger at France for seizing Tunisia the previous year. Italy had harbored its own aspiration for taking control of this area. In 1882, it was a Triple Alliance, and in a Triple Alliance, you can say that it's a sort of extension of Dole Alliance. In Dole Alliance, Austria-Hungary and Germany was jointly together against Russia, but in Triple Alliance, Italy joined the party, and it was partially for its own national security, but at the same time, Italy wanted to secure itself by the invasion of France, which could be possible in near future. So the Reinsurance Treaty 1887, despite the existence of the Triple Alliance, Bismarck's plan to isolate France had not been effected. Austria-Hungary and Italy were traditionally enemies, and neither could boast a strong army to come to Germany's aid in the event of a French attack. More importantly, the loss of an effective alliance with Russia meant that Germany remained vulnerable to attack from both sides, west and east. If France and Russia should form an alliance of their own, in that effort to avoid this possibility, Bismarck signed the Reinsurance Treaty with Russia in 1887. This guaranteed Germany and Russia neutrality in any war as far as the German did not attack France or Russia attack Austria-Hungary. All these alliances, so carefully negotiated by Bismarck, were entirely defensive in the character and were intended to preserve peace. However, they were formed by treaties whose terms were secret, and this naturally gave rise to concern amongst the powers not involved in this negotiation. These suspicions grew when Germany began to adopt a more aggressive approach to foreign affairs. So, in Reassurance Treaty, I need to, you can say, simply wrap up the whole alliances. We need to understand one thing. It's the central character of all those alliances was Bismarck, because it was the plan of Bismarck to isolate France, and by isolating France, at the same time, just taking a precautionary measure, Bismarck wanted to have friendly relationship with their neighbors. Especially, there were two chances. First, Russia can attack Germany, or it is more likely that France can take a revenge. So, France can attack on Germany with the help of, you can say, Britain. But just to make sure that Germany would be safe in upcoming years, again, Bismarck had an reinsurance treaty in 1887. In this treaty, again, he had a very secret negotiation with Russian leadership, and he not only convinced Russian leadership, but at the same time had a very, you can say, shrewdly, he was able to win the support of Russia. And it was, you can say, it was a provision in this treaty that if France would attack on Germany, then Russia would remain neutral. But for that purpose, Germany already had two alliances, Austria and Italy. So these are a couple of alliances which Bismarck was desperate, and he tried his level best to have such a foreign policy. With the help of these foreign policy, he concentrated a lot about how to secure German by the invasion, like France, like Russia. So according to these statements, these policies, these agreements, Bismarck was successful just to maintain peace and security in the region. At the same time, Germany adopted the policy to weaponize its state, more aggressive foreign policy, just to give a strong message to Britain and France that they would not, or they should not even think to attack on Germany. Inshallah ta'ala, in my next lecture, I will tell you a lot about the same uniting against Germany. So if there were a lot of alliances between German, Austria-Hungary, and Russia and Italy, so just to make, you can say, on the same ground, France was able to have a lot of alliances with other European countries. So in my next, inshallah, upcoming video, I will tell you a lot in detail about that. Till then, Jazakallah.